All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't really know what all I'm supposed to kind of talk about today, but obviously there was something that very shockingly happened on the high limit race at Tri-City last night. For some reason, in the heat racing of the evening, we saw something that we have never seen before. So in heat race number 1 of the high limit sprint car series event, you had Rico Abreu leading, Kyle Larson running in second, and then you also had Justin Sanders in third. The white flag comes out. Rico Abreu down the back straightaway looks like something we sometimes, but not all the time, see, but we do see it where a guy loses power on his car, is off the pace. The guys fly by, Larson flies by, Sanders flies by, and the caution comes out before the checkered flag is thrown. The announcers are talking about how Rico's going to be slotted into third, even though he brought out the caution. I come from a day personally where if you bring out the caution, you go to the back. And let me, before I go any more, let's help everyone understand what nepotism and monarchy actually means. Because I feel like I say some words and people don't know what they mean. Nepotism, the practice among those with power or influence of favoring relatives, friends, or associates, especially by giving them jobs. Now, that is the racing world 101. And then do we need to talk about monarchy? Monarchy is a form of government where one person inherits the supreme authority, usually for life. Now, nepotism is more so what controls this sport. But monarchy seems to be creeping into the situation with what we saw last night in this heat race. So the caution is out. We're rolling around the speedway. Announcers are saying Rico's going to be slotted in third, as I was saying. And Larson's pacing. Sanders is second. Rico's pacing in third for some oddball reason. And then all of a sudden, Kyle Larson comes to a stop. Talks to Tommy Estes, which F&J Construction Man, I don't know how you feel about this. And says something to him. And then gets pushed back off, which Kyle Larson came to a stop for a non-safety matter. He should be put to the back if we really want to talk about rules. He gets pushed off, and the next thing we see, we don't hear really anything from the announcer group or nothing. Next thing we see is cars basically at full speed going green, single file with Rico Abreu in the lead. And the announcers are like, well, I guess they gave Rico the lead, but we got to go down to the 57 trailer and figure out what just happened, because you can't talk to Tommy Estes or Brad Sweet, because these are just poster boys, apparently. We saw who runs the show. We found who the supreme authority of everything is. Apparently, the flag man threw the green flag, something he must do. Some do, not a lot do, but he threw the green flag with 2 to go. Then the white flag with 1 to go. I know that a lot of flagmen will hold 2 sticks in the air with 2 to go and then throw a white flag with 1 to go and a checkered flag at the end. The excuse to what I've heard and gathered is that the flagman waved the green flag and then waved the white, and Rico Abreu assumed that was the white and the checkered, and that the sun was setting at a certain point at the facility to where you could not really distinguish what color the flags were. And I let me say this right now. That's a very good reason. That's an extremely good reason to reward Rico the lead back. Because when you are in these race cars, I've been in a few, and you put that helmet on and you put the visor down and you put the tear-offs on and you get out there and the sun's setting and the dust is up. Well, the dust wasn't there, but regardless, it's hard to see in these race cars. So I could see how that was a legitimate reason to give Rico Abreu the lead back and why it was a error by the flagman and everything else like that. But you have to consider what it looks like. And it looks like nepotism. And with the stop and decision making made, it looks like monarchy. I'm sure everyone else could see what Rico saw and what Kyle saw, but they weren't going to make the call. It is ultimately the driver's responsibility to distinguish. Yes, he may have been confused, but that is still driver error in that confusion. Kyle Larson flew by. All the other cars on the track flew by. The merit of the situation does not reward Rico his lead back because of his errors. But in this nepotism-based motorsports world, it does. And that's what people are upset about and have a right to be upset about. Now, we could talk about the dice roll and all that bull crap. You had Larson and everybody crying that no one takes it. He rolls an 11 and denies it. Then they give him a second chance and it's an 8 just to try to make it happen. I mean, there's so many bending of the rules in this scenario. I just don't understand it. How about like what Brad Sweet did? If the top 2 starters deny it, hey, 11th place starter, now if you win the race, you get an extra $11,000. I really liked how Brad Sweet handled that at Wayne County. But I don't, from the things I'm seeing, Brad Sweet ain't the head honcho. We know who the head honcho is now. We know who the supreme authority is. And then he goes out there, the top 2 drivers and that was really going to contend to hold Larson off, they wreck together, and he wins. And I'm trying to understand, this ain't the late model world, guys. I'm sorry. Now, late model racing had their amazing race at Florence last night. 4 or 5 cars going at it, slide jobs back and forth, competition at its premium. Unfortunately, the 1A motorsport in the world right now is dirt late model, super dirt late model racing. NASCAR's at like 6, 7, Indy 500s are at like 10. You got to get through all these dirt things where there's thousands of competitors and the competition level so high. There's just too many late models with the same amount of money. Most of the time in this sprint car world, the only reason we only got 12 World of Outlaw sprint car drivers is there's only about 12 people who can afford to be a World of Outlaw sprint car team. The late model world don't have that. There's 100 guys over there that can afford it. 100 guys that have just as much of equipment. That's not the case in the sprint car racing industry. At the end of the day, Kyle Larson is one of the best damn sprint car racers we've ever seen. And Kyle Larson is not going to be challenged on a 1B stage. Now, high limit sprint car racing is very, very high level. There is not, this ain't a bunch of bitches. I'm not saying that. You got Brett Marks, you got Macri. I mean, you got Dietrich, you got, I mean, that's just the PA boys. You got, everyone is involved here. Parker Price Miller, Tyler Courtney's, everyone but the best. The best is the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series. There's 5 guys, just like when I said Brett Marks went from 20th to 1st at Attica against the All-Stars. There's 5 or 8 more guys that are that level. And when those guys ain't out there playing on the court, it's a little bit easier to just drain threes and take it to the hole and dominate the game when the best players aren't out there. So, Kyle Larson, you're smacking around the 1B guys, but these aren't the 1As. This ain't the gravel. This ain't the shots. This ain't the guys that most of those guys in that field are trying to be. And you're one of them. And you want to win a sprint car series championship, so you've made your own sprint car series. And things go as you say. And the only one to defend against this is the world of outlaws, guys. And I know it's communist, they won't let the drivers race and blah, 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 blah. But these are the only guys left to defend this. And they are littered in nepotism as well. But it's just like Russia and the U.S. They both have their rights and their wrongs, but which side are you on? All I know is what I saw last night. I don't think the World of Outlaws would pull off. I haven't seen nepotism to that level in the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series. I haven't seen it. What we saw last night, we've never seen, because we've never seen anyone make a call like that. And if you consider sprint car racing, professional auto racing, just as difficult as NASCAR, just as difficult as Formula One is, and I believe it is. I think sprint car racing and dirt late model racing is 1A, 1B overall. But you have to believe that there are guys out here that could put it on Kyle Larson's ass. The late model world hands it to Kyle Larson's ass all the time. Yeah, when the cushion gets going and he can drive that late model like a sprint car, he's going to whoop their ass all day. But the late model guys have plenty that can take him down. And this high limit example is trying to protrude that the sprint car world does not. I disagree with that. I think there are plenty of World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series drivers that could put Larson in his place, just like some of the late model guys can too. Is it the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series job to not allow that to happen, or to allow that to happen? Imagine if they just let them all go to high limit. Imagine the level that this form of nepotism and monarchy could do to those guys and make them look. I mean, Rico Abreu's already done one of the best damn jobs of kicking the World of Outlaws' ass. I'm a supreme Rico fan. But what I saw last night was ridiculous. What I'm seeing overall in the media manipulational aspect of the situation is alarming. And I think it needs to be talked about. I haven't done a lot of talking recently. I've been doing a lot of working, but working and talking is kind of the same thing for me. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I think. Leave a comment below with what you think. It's all about the freedom of expression and thought. That's what I feel is most important than any of this racing crap, because there's plenty of nepotism and monarchy that we face. And usually nepotism and monarchy wants to control you more than anything. They're trying to make sure that you do not speak up. They want their power and their influence to favor their relatives, friends, associates, and giving people jobs and this, that, and the other without anyone knowing or saying anything about it. So, you can defy nepotism. You could be a Americana person and leave whatever you fucking think down there in the comment section. I'm going to sit here and say whatever the hell I think on this camera. Sound good for you? Good. I might be punished for my opinions, but who gives a damn? Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, as always, be sure to subscribe. Got the I Am Actually From Here Texas shirt and merchandise on the longlivethechaz.com website. Brand O'Banion merchandise over there as well. Go pick you up some items. We do not have Velox hats out just yet. We might be doing that. And by the way, week of High Banks Nationals, I know we talked about it a little bit. Week of High Banks Nationals, there's going to be a birthday bash at a local karting facility. There's already a big group going there. It's Thunder Roads in Sioux Falls on June 20th, 7 p.m. They got a couple 305 drivers. We're going to try to mix this in, make it like a birthday bash for me since I'll be June 21st. We're going to be racing some go-karts, having some fun. I may not do the birthday bash at the Thunder Road go-kart facility, but midnight, June 21st, going to be turning 36. I know I don't look like it, but 36 has a ring to it. Keep that in mind. But we're going to be doing something and having some fun there racing. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be fun. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, as always, be sure to subscribe, and we will catch you next time. This is how we ride.